Hello, everybody. Another afternoon on Saturday, and welcome to another Catch-Up with Mayo live stream. I do these live streams just about every Saturday, sometime in the late afternoon, and that's usually the time that I do them. So I'm here to do one of my regular, usually scheduled live streams today. Of course, I know we'll be doing a lot of talking about the Beatles Anthology 4, which I also did a special live stream yesterday. I figure there are people that maybe are just getting the Anthology 4 now. Maybe they didn't have it yesterday when I did a live stream. Maybe I give them a little more time to listen to some of the contents thereof. And we can talk. And it doesn't just have to be limited to the Beatles, but I'm thinking we're going to get people here that want to talk about that. So hello to Mike, and hello to Ramoga. Hello to Mr. Woodhaven. I just wanted to ask you, I forgot to ask you this. Are you referring to Woodhaven in Queens? Is that what we're talking about? Hi, Gary. Glad you could make it. And Angelo Mysterioso, hi, thank you much. Glad you had fun with the review. And Joe, good to see you. And George, hi. Hello, Rory. And hi, Cherry Carter. And hello, all about Beatles 1. Okay. And we're off. Okay, once again, so far, all I've gotten is the 2 CD version, the standalone of Anthology 4. Eventually, I may get the other 3, the reissues of the 3 CDs, Anthology 1, 2, and 3, because I hear that there's some tweaking going on there and some of the early tracks are improved. When it comes to the vinyl, the only vinyl that I want is the standalone vinyl for volume 4. I have the original vinyl for 1, 2, and 3. I'd like to get the vinyl for Anthology 4. I didn't know at first that Anthology 4 was available alone on vinyl. I knew it was available alone on CD, but I thought you had to buy the whole the whole 4 of them on vinyl in a box. All right. Hello, Day Tripper. What's going on with you? Eric, hi. Christian. And Lila is one of the regulars here. Many listens later. 4 is still a great listen, but Lennon's voice on Real Love is terrible. It wavers and sounds sped up. Is it AI overload? Whatever it is, I'm now of the agreement after hearing a few listens of this that I am not thrilled with John's voice on the new 2025 Real Love. Hi, CJ. Let's see. Hi again, Mr. Woodhaven. I listened to the CD disc. I compared it to the original CD. I didn't see much difference, except that the reissue is slightly louder. You're talking about the old disc compared to the new. Okay, I got you. Okay, the box that Caitlin reviewed looked gorgeous of the anthology. Yeah, that's a special promotional. Well, you're talking about the promotional package, or are you talking about? I think you're talking about the 12 LP box. I saw both of them there. I assume they must have outtakes. I think you wrote this in a comment of now and then, wondering why they wouldn't include it. I don't know if they have that kind of outtakes and now and then per se. I don't know. Hello, Claire. Welcome back. How is 4 for you today, Joe? Any different thoughts or opinions from yesterday? Well, the only change that really has happened is when, as I say, when I first listened to my first listen of Anthology 4 on CD, I did not properly play Real Love. I spot checked it just to hear if it sounded generally improved or not. After playing Real Love 3 or 4 more times, I realized I don't like the 2025 mix as much. And but everything else, I love. All I can say is I have the same opinion that I love all the new outtakes, and it's particularly all the early outtakes from 1963 through 1965, mainly all those early outtakes. I really love them. They're fantastic to listen to, and I still stand by that. And I love "Baby You're a Rich Man," that particular outtake. Okay, Chris, hi. I'm in the minority, I guess, but I like the remix of "Real Love." That's at first, I thought I did too. I mean, but you're not real. Well, you were in the minority apparently, but you're not alone. There were other people who said they like it as well, so you're not alone on that. John's voice sounds too much like AI. Rather have the older version. Yeah, I came to that conclusion as well. Hello, Tudor. Enjoying the remastered 1 and 2. Amazing quality. Okay, I want to hear more about that. I want to hear more about what the old Anthology 1 and 2 sound like, improvement wise. I noticed that Paul was playing Mull of Kintyre. Have you ever seen it done live? I don't think so. I've seen Paul, I think, 11 times, and he never did Mull of Kintyre at any of the shows I was at. I know he's done it live before. Hello, Jack. What's going on? Still not available in Germany at all. Wow. You get them on the release day in the USA. But funny thing is those albums are made in Germany. Yeah, how do you explain that? Well, they're pressed in Germany, and you can't get it. Crazy stuff. Crazy. It's a shame how they omitted a good part of George's lead in Real Love. Not sure what they were thinking. Yeah, I hear some stuff that still sounds like it's there, but it's not the same as the original. I like I see the original, meaning the 90s version of Real Love, and also the 2015 version. What is your thoughts on the illustration used on the cover of the black and white picture of the band? We're talking about the one. Which one are we talking about? The box, the big box of the mall from 1969. If that's what we're talking about, I like that. If that's what you're referring to. Hi, Marcus. What's going on with you? It's now been stated that Giles Martin combined different versions of Lennon's Real Love. Lennon made around 10 that was provided to Giles by Sean. Well, whatever it is, it's a shit job. I got to be honest with you. In my opinion. Okay. Amazon just reduced the Volume 4 vinyl box again, now at $328. Still a lot, but at least it's dropping. Well, $328 for the whole 12 LP box set of vinyl is probably the best price that I've heard so far. Hello, Bobby. What's going on? I got it on YouTube. Love it. Okay, you can play some of the tracks on YouTube. I don't know if they're all on there yet. You let me know. But regards from Mexico. Hello to Mexico. My favorite Wings album. It's funny. It's probably Venus and Mars. Venus and Mars and Back to the Egg are probably my favorite Wings albums. Band on the Run too, but of course, Band on the Run is a little, played out. It gets a lot of praise all the time. Okay, disappointed to read the Anthology TV series. Episodes are being trimmed down to 1 hour each. I hope that episode 9 isn't mostly made up of the bonus material from the DVD set. I'm wondering about this as well. Now, the thing is, I don't have Disney Plus. My situation was that I got Disney Plus back in 2021. I subscribed to it just to get the Beatles Get Back that was on there, the Peter Jackson documentary. And I loved it when I watched it. But then I never canceled Disney Plus. I kept Disney Plus for like 4 years. My girlfriend just canceled it. Finally, after 4 years, she cancels it, not knowing that Anthology is going to be on there. Point I'm trying to make is I don't really know now if I want to get Disney Plus back, if they're going to be cutting the whole thing. I mean, I thought we were supposed to get more stuff, if anything. I don't understand this. It's an abbreviated, truncated version of the Anthology that we had before. Okay. Hello, Tom. Always good to see you here, there, and everywhere. Uh, got the 8 CD box set yesterday. Really love Anthology 4. Highlights are Tell Me Why, Every Little Thing, and Baby You're a Rich Man. I agree with you, Tom. I love those three. Those are the first standouts in my mind. But of course, I'm also loving Matchbox and I Need You. Those are my favorites on here, along with the ones you've said as well. Have you seen all the Anthology merchandise? Would you wear a shirt with Anthology written all over it? Sure, I wear. If I can wear a shirt that says Mikey Arugula on it, over here, I can wear anything. That's funny. Anyway, I cracked myself up. I want to get Anthology 4 on vinyl, but I already have a lot of those tracks from the deluxe editions. 80 US dollars, a little too pricey to me for 3 LPs. Well, they're definitely pricey. There's no doubt about that. We can all agree on that. Yes, I meant the black and white photo on the box set. Seems such a weird choice of imagery. I'm okay with it. You know, Jeff Lynne is playing the new guitar parts on Real Love. It's Christmas time, and that means Beatle buying time. You know that. Hey, look at this! Thank you so much for your help here. It's always appreciated. It's not required, but anytime somebody could help out by hitting the symbol below, much appreciated. Helps me pay for the live StreamYard thing every month. Thank you, Daniel. Great seeing Paul again in Pittsburgh. His voice hasn't sounded that good in years. You know, Tom, I've heard a lot of, surprisingly, if I'm to be honest, good recordings and things with the camera on YouTube of Paul at some of the shows. Sometimes it's a little off, but at times I'm thinking he sounds pretty good, considering he's 83 and everything, and his voice isn't what it was. But I got to tell you, a lot of times I'm surprised by that. Sounds pretty decent. Tell you the truth. Is the TV show being re-released on DVD? There's no word on that yet. No word on that. Disney is very funny about releasing stuff to physical media. Okay, Disney makes a lots of edit, like taking all the drug references out of the Sergeant Pepper documentary. Disney, yeah. All You Need Is Love is like a 7-minute documentary. Love it. Yeah, I love it. I should have mentioned that too. When I was mentioning to Tom Livrani before about the tracks that I like best, I agreed with all his choices, added some of my own, but I forgot to add that I also like All You Need Is Love, the new version. Thank you very much, Daniel. I really appreciate that. Wave, everybody wave to Raymond. I think the info belly bands on the vinyl and the CD sets are really not necessary. It's not convenient to have to remove them to get to the discs. They're too big to fold and insert in the cases. Okay, I loved All You Need Is Love and Baby You're a Rich Man. So did I. Both good, both of those are good. Really enjoyable. Everything has been remixed and expanded apart from the book. LOL. Okay. Hello, good afternoon. I'm from Peru. Thank you very much, Christopher. Thank you for joining us here. I love the song I Need You. Oh, If I Fell, I forgot about it. That's another one. Thank you very much for reminding me. I love If I Fell on here. I love In My Life on here. Did I mention those? I love basically everything they have on here from 63 through 65. And John sounds real. He sounds alive. Hello there. Appreciate Blue Indiana Insight. How would you rank the anthologies? Well, I know I put Anthology 3 last, personally. I always liked Anthology 2 the best. Right now, I think I'm going to put Anthology 2, Anthology 4, and 1. 2, 4, 1, 3. Right now. Ask me how I feel about it, tomorrow. Change my mind tomorrow. Okay, howdy. One of my faves on number 4 is Tell Me Why. Absolutely. which instead of sounding like substandard album filler, it's an exciting example of 1964 pop. A lot of people said that Tell Me Why on this new Anthology 4 really comes to life like that for them, where they didn't really think much of it before. I've always loved Tell Me Why. Even on the original release, I don't think of it as substandard album filler. I never thought of Tell Me Why is substandard ever. But I understand oftentimes Tell Me Why gets on the bottom of people's favorite Beatles songs lists, along with another song that I think is better than people say, and that's When I Get Home, which I love also. Yeah, Tell Me Why and This Boy are my faves or some faves from Anthology 4. This Boy is very good, very much fun to listen to, with the John, Paul, and George harmonizing and cracking up at the end and everything, making some mistakes. But the only reason I keep discounting it in my mind is because I've had that before and I've heard that before. It was featured on one of the CD singles as a bonus track before, from Real Love or Free as a Bird. I forget which one. Larry Graves said that he canceled his Anthology box set after watching your review. He made a point of saying that your review was positive, but he still canceled. Well, I commented on that video and I said, gee, I hope it's not my review that got you to. He said, no. He said, I had my mind made up to cancel it. He responded even before I saw your review. But the thing is, personally, I can't tell people what to do. It's your life, it's your money and everything, and your hobby. But the thing for me is, I can't see, like Larry or like a lot of people already have Anthology 1, 2, and 3. It's a natural to have 4 with it. Why not? Now, I'm not talking about going out and buying the big box set and spending $400 or anything, but to just buy the single standalone, the cheapest one. That's my opinion. But everybody makes their own decisions, obviously. Yeah, I'm looking through you. Was always very good. That's a good alternate version. That's not on this, not on volume 4. It's on volume 2. Do you think they could have expanded the anthology book? I don't know. You're talking about the big book. I didn't buy the new one. They had the new anthology book reissued. I still have the other one, which weighs a ton. I don't think there's much more they could have done with that. It's already pretty big as it is. I got the best of, what's that? Beatles 60-something and 70-something on vinyl record. This is Elliot. Hello, Elliot. Thanks for showing up and joining. It would be nice if the whole of Anthology 4 was filled with tracks like that never heard before. And let me say this again. I'm sorry if I can't read it right. Would be nice if the whole of Anthology 4 was filled with tracks like that never heard before, instead of the stuff that's been issued on deluxe. Well, look, definitely. For those of us who are completists when it comes to the rarities, and for those of us who went out and bought all of the box sets, whatever it is, whether it's Sgt. Pepper and Revolver and Abbey Road, the White Album, etc., etc. For us who bought all of those, we're getting repeats. But there are a lot of people out there that didn't spring them and spend the money for those big boxes, and so therefore to them they'll be new here. And still, don't get me wrong, I'd rather have all new stuff, not half new and half ported over from the deluxe boxes. Rather have all new. But as long as I have them here, at least they're here, and I don't have to go pull out the boxes and fumble through to find the bonus disc. It's all here. Not all here. Choice cuts are here. If I want to hear Julia, I don't have to grab the White Album box or something to get to it, for instance. I also like when Paul sings Aqua Marina and drops the F-bomb when they were recording Think For Yourself vocals. That's not on an anthology release yet. Or maybe it'll be on a Rubber Soul release. That's something they could put on Rubber Soul that would excite people. I've heard that. On YouTube, I've heard that. All tracks were available on YouTube on the morning of release. Very good. Very good. Okay, UK Magazine Record Collector December edition is out. Best albums of 2025. Look Up is in there. That should be. Ringo's Look Up is in the best albums of 2025. And damn well it should be. It is a fine Ringo album. Even for people who don't like Ringo albums, it's got good performers on there, good songs, along with Ringo. Plenty of cowbell on When I Get Home, isn't there? I don't hear cowbell when I think of When I Get Home. I hear it when I think of I Call Your Name, or You Can't Do That. Even though I like jewel cases, I thought the CD box set was a very nice package for those who don't want the vinyl. Fair enough. Okay. I can't understand how ungrateful that so many fans are dissing new Real Love remix. Now I just hope the Beatles to stop releasing new material, hence they know how lucky we are compared to the 80s and 90s. Well, that happens all the time. Beatle fans are never satisfied. Everybody's crying, where's Rubber Soul? Why are we getting Anthology? Why don't we get Rubber Soul? And I always tell them, you'll get Rubber Soul. I'm sure we'll get it. Just hang loose. It'll be next year or the year after. We'll get it. And I'm sure they'll go back and do all the rest of the Beatles albums, full albums and stuff. But I'm saying, when that comes out, the fans are also going to complain about those. You know, they complain when they're not getting it, and then they complain when they do get it, and it's not what they want. I can understand Larry canceling. Box sets are even more expensive in Canada. Yeah, I get it. But like I say, I understand him canceling the box set, especially if he's already got 1, 2, and 3. But personally, I think having 4 is good. Joe, did you hear the extra beat on the end of Love Is Strange on the new Wings compilation? You know what, Tom, I played that. I played the new Wings compilation on my car ride. Sometimes when I have to go up and take a long car ride, I listen to CDs, and that's when I played it. Overall, I was very happy with the sound quality overall on the new Wings compilation. Some of the songs I wouldn't have personally put in there. It's all a matter of an arbitrary, subjective opinion as to what people think belongs there or should have been there instead or taken off. Anyway, I didn't notice that. I made all that. I didn't notice that. I'll have to listen to it again. I'm sorry. I have to listen to it again. But my point is, at some point, even though I'll be late on this, I will do a video after the anthology stuff dies down. I'll do a video where I talk all about the new Wings compilation and what I think of it, the actual content. Loving the alternate bass line from Paul on Nowhere Man, first version. Guitars have a very big Birds vibe. The only thing positive that I could say about it for me is I like the Birds. The fact that they have that twangy, whatever you want to call it, jangly Birds sound is very good. It's interesting, but I've said, and I stand by, for me, I was disappointed it wasn't a full vocal version of the song. It starts out with the vocals for the intro, and then it's just instrumental. And I don't know, just not a highlight to me. I was kind of disappointed in Nowhere Man. One record store in town over the owner who passed was the Beatles manager who bought them and worked with them. Meant to write I've Just Seen a Face. I've Just Seen a Face, another brilliant track, wonderful track. I keep forgetting to mention that. Let me just go up. Okay. Makes me sad how brilliant they were, and they are not here anymore. Totally love John. All of them, obviously, but they seem to have had such fun all being together and working together. Such genius. Yes, I agree. Looks like most footage in the anthology doc will be stretched to 16:9 instead of the original 4:3. I didn't mind it in Get Back, but I prefer the original format used in the Let It Be restoration. That's also a factor too, right? Yeah, they're going to stretch it rectangular. I don't know what we're going to get. I'm starting to think maybe it's not the greatest idea for me, like I was saying earlier, to get Disney Plus back just to see this, if it's going to be cut down instead of the full versions and too many changes, but I might have to watch it anyway. I like how you point out some, like You Never Give Me Your Money, Take 36 says, I think that's an Abbey Road box set. Well, look, people have pointed out, and rightly so, what I should have done more research before I originally reviewed this. A lot of people like my review of this, and I appreciate your support. However, because I was so anxious to rush it up and get it up there on the screen, give my opinions of the new tracks, the newer ones, I kind of like could have found more details for you on which ones had already been released exactly. I've already got the book too, the paperback version with the black cover. Yeah, I have the hardcover. It comes in handy in case anybody breaks in and you want to hit them over the head. It's very the hardcover one, very, very thick book. If they eventually do box sets of Please Please Me with the Beatles albums, I hope they'll include studio banter along with any early takes. I hope so too. Hi, James. Anthology 4 flows very well. I really enjoy most of it. Not really any skippers. Yeah, the thing too I want to say about it is a lot of people, I know Norman Maslov, he gave the opinion. I saw some of his video where he talked about, and a lot of people had this feeling, they would like to see all the songs from Volume 4 reworked in the right chronological order. Because instead of having this hodgepodge of leftovers, they want 1, 2, 3, and 4 all to beat to sequence proper chronology to tell a story. I don't care about that. Never, I didn't then, I don't now. I just want the tracks. So I'm okay with that, but I respect people's opinions on it. I just don't have the same opinion. Okay. In My Life is amazing. In My Life is used in a current commercial. They should release this as a single. Yeah, I don't want to hear it in a commercial. Not happy about that, but it does sound amazing. Okay. When I listen to the new mix of Free as a Bird, I keep thinking John's improved vocal isn't loud enough. The tambourine and acoustic guitars are possibly excessively loud. Anyone else think so? Okay, I'm okay with it, but others are welcome to weigh in on that. All You Need Is Love was a real surprise. Real Love, jeffed up, and overcompressed is the biggest letdown for me. Yeah, me too. On the latest Wing CD, they did re-edit Rock Show with Little Luck Junior's Farm, or did they? You're asking me. No, Junior's Farm is the full version. With a Little Luck is the full version, I think, and Rock Show, I think, is the Venus and Mars and Rock Show, I believe, is the edited version. Unless I'm getting it mixed up now with Wingspan. 111 watching and only 20 likes. Give Joe more love altogether now, everybody. Yeah, please hit the like button. Now, I always have a line. If you're a troll and you hate me, don't bother giving me a like. Although, I got to tell you, a thumbs down. You may not know this, but a thumbs down also helps with the algorithm. Even as long as people interact with a video or a live stream, even negatively, it still goes as being like activity and watch. It helps me, But anyway, if you like it, please give me a thumbs up. That's what I'm trying to say. Thank you, Daniel. Greg Lakes, I believe in Father Christmas, is 50 years old. The Christmas we get, we deserve. What a chilling final line in that, too. I do like that song. Hello, James Farley. Hello, thank you for joining us again. Will Paul start doing Wonderful Christmas Time live again? I wonder. Well, I think he's playing his last, if I'm not mistaken, show soon in a couple of days. I think in Chicago, he might not be close enough to Christmas time. The main guitar on What You're Doing has the Birds sound. Okay, yeah. Looks like the new Wings compilation has been a bit of a flop. Here in the UK, it went into the top 100 album chart at 12 and then dropped off it completely. In Billboard, it went in at 68. Well, I think that's true, but these days, as long as something hits 12 is still a good showing. 12 out of 100 is still a pretty good showing, I think. Even if it falls down the next week, it doesn't matter. All it has to do is any song or album has to do is hit a certain peak. You could get up, say you could debut an album at number 1, and then the second week it falls down to number 98, and still it hit number 1. It still counts, Matt Street's review of 4 is funny. Fool on the Hill instrumental track has a nice love version intro included. Okay. I know Ringo did a version of Grow Old With Me. Yes, he did. It's on his album, What's My Name? Sean should have a cleaned up version of John's demo when Double Fantasy is reissued. A lost gem. Well, let's see. That'll be nice. Are there any recordings of John singing Good Night? Why do I feel like there may be? It's about, why do I think I may have heard that? Or is that in my, wish list? Considering how many people are watching this, there should be more likes on it. Absolutely. Well, I can't see how many there are, but people are telling me there aren't. Maybe they don't like it. Whatever. Strawberry Fields Forever is a skipper. Let's see. I never thought that we get to hear from Please Please Me album, as many people say that it was gone. How about the Ruddles, W.C. Fields Forever? Yeah, very funny. The Ruddles is a humorous show. When was the last time you listened to the original anthology? Me, about 25 years ago. It just sits on my shelf, like Larry said with his. That said, I love Baby You're a Rich Man from Anthology 4. I actually listened to all the anthologies recently, only because I was excited when they first announced that we were going to get the new one. If they hadn't announced that we were getting this new one, I might not have played the other anthology. But, people, I don't know why people keep trying to, needle with this, stick this in. When was the last time you heard it? What's the point of getting it? You're never going to listen to it. All I can tell you is I pretty often pull out anthologies 1 and 2. I'll admit I'm not wild about 3 that much, but I pull out 1 and 2 a lot to listen specifically to the early, as I say here, early takes with the vocals intact that I like. So I pull it out, listen to I'll Be Back a lot. I listen to 8 Days a Week a lot on the first anthology. I listen to I'm Down from the second one. I listen to You've Got to Hide Your Love Away. I listen to It's Only Love. All kinds of stuff. I listen to Only a Northern Song I like. So I do take them down. Do I listen to them as much as some other Beatles albums? No, but it doesn't have anything to do with this, to me, in my opinion. I'm not saying that you're trying to make it something, but other people try to make a non-point out of it. I feel like 4 is more of an anthology 3.5. There was so much that went into the original 3. Artwork, all new tracks. I feel like Apple just isn't trying as hard. Give the next to Peter Jackson. I don't know. I don't remember. Again, Daniel. I remember a lot of people saying they weren't so wild about 1, 2, and 3 either. I don't know, man. I don't know what to tell you. I'm happy with it personally. Sorry for those who aren't. Okay. Wonder if Paul and Ringo were too scared to look at their bank accounts. Yeah. Wait for Taylor Swift's anthology in 2055. I think that may never happen, but who knows? There's a thumbs up for you. Thank you. Much appreciated. I was happy with how the original mixes of Free as a Bird and Real Love sounded in the 90s. These were home demo vocal takes from John. Mal's made his voice too exposed and weren't meant to be strong performances. Okay, good point. Is your 4 now in the car, ready to listen to again? It is. I had a friend who used to make burn copies to keep in the car. I'll tell you, and then the original on the shelf to keep safe. I'll be honest with you, I haven't been very good about it. I've got it in my CD player in my car. It's been there since I got it, and I keep playing it when I'm in the car. So it's getting cold here too, so you got to watch the elements. Not very responsible, John sang a few notes from Goodnight on the Wedding album. I hear his voice doing another version of it somewhere in my mind. Maybe that's where I heard it. All of the tracks on Volume 4 should have been previously unreleased. A lot of people agree with you on that, including me, but I can't understand. I can't understand how you have such a popular channel with lots of viewers, but you don't get Beatles freebies. That's interesting because I said this yesterday, I think. Some of the people got Beatles freebies. Some people were sent the big vinyl set with 12 vinyl albums in there. But they were mostly very young, usually Gen Zers, most of them, or the generation before that, whatever it is, I lose track. It's obvious that the Beatles are trying to appeal to the younger generation and try to get people interested. The only thing I keep saying is, I'll repeat it again, is that I think that's a great thing. I always think it's imperative that we have young people. I'm amazed and in love when young people get into the Beatles. Whether I see them at a record store, whether I go to a concert, whether they say hello to me at the Beatle Fest, it is very important. However, it's not like they're the only Beatle fans there are. You'd think Apple would think that, we don't matter anymore, us older fans, and we're just going to give everything to them because they want them to post pictures all over social media that, look at me, I got the big box, isn't this great? Look, these Gen Zers, they love the Beatles. They don't seem interested in people like me and other people, I guess, reviewing the albums or really talking about the differences in the endings of this track and how this track has had a different mix. They're not interested in fans like analyzing the albums, I don't think. But anyway, it is what it is. You take what you can get and you congratulate other people. Congratulations, everybody there who's got one. If you were to get a pet, would you name it after one of the Beatles? No, I wouldn't. I had pets in the past, never named them at, anything to do with the Beatles. It's funny. Even though I'm a tremendous fan, I never really watched the director's cut. I know there's a lot of unused footage in the director's cut of Anthology, yet I never went for that. Yeah, Leave My Kitten Alone. Absolutely a great rocker that wasn't originally released. I wasn't excited when they announced the Anthology project, but now find myself more interested. But that may be what happened with me too, maybe, I would say. Now that I've heard it, I'm more interested now and excited now. There you go. Thank you. I saw Paul last December in the UK, and he sang Wonderful Christmas Time. Yeah, he does it. He does do it. Okay. How did you find a car with a CD player? I did not find a car with a CD player, sadly. I have a portable round CD player that plugs in. Luckily for me, it sounds great. Not as good as the one I used to have automatically built in my old car. But when I say I left it in the CD player, that's what I mean. I always try to make it a point whenever I leave my car and go into the house to take any CDs out and put them back in the case and bring them in the house. Sometimes I leave them. To think, I can't, there it is. To think that the Beatles outtakes are better than some other band's official material. That's true. Yeah. Some of the outtakes are better than other bands' released material. Okay. Joe, looking at your crystal ball, what do you think will be the next Beatles release? Wow. I got to think about this one. I don't know. I mean, I'm thinking about solo Beatles, but you're talking about the Beatles together as a group, right? Wow, I don't see anything in my mind right now except Rubber Soul. Trying to think, because sometimes I heard that the anthology was going to be revisited a long time ago. Somebody on the inside told me that they're going to have Revolver. They're going to do Anthology next. Somebody told me that on the inside, and I knew that long in advance. And also, I had also learned earlier that they were going to do the Beatles 64 documentary long before it came out, but I haven't heard anything. I haven't heard anything lately. I have not watched the Ken Scott interview. No. I had to hit the cough button. Don't ignore the older consumers. They generally have more money to spend on the stuff. That's another thing. They have more money to spend on the stuff usually. I don't know. Kimba, hello. It's also too bad they don't give free stuff to middle-aged women with no channel content, like yourself, maybe. I guess you mean. Don't sell your car. You can't get car CD players anymore. My car does not have a CD player in it, sadly. Apple should not forget the boomers. It's an insult. It's a slap in the face. I'll tell you. Like the people that have been supporting them all these years, long before the newbies were born, they just don't care, But it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. And that's it. And like I say, doesn't mean I don't congratulate these people. Good for you. I think everybody should get it. That's what the Lenin estate does. The Lenin estate takes care of the old people, the older boomers, but they also want to keep an eye and help out the young generation. They want to get some publicity and promotion from the young generation too. So it works both ways. The Beatles only mainly cares about the younger, apparently. And that's got to change, I think. Okay. Oh, this is an interesting question. What's your opinion on the song Der Kommissar? Did you like it when it came out? I loved it when it came out. It came out in 1983. I know I think Falco did the German version, and I like the Americanized English version by After the Fire. Now, for all you people out there to think, all this guy knows is Beatles, all he cares about is Beatles, there's a pretty obscure track for you. I knew the name of the German version artist, Falco, and I also knew the name of After the Fire for the American version. Oh, that's right, the Star Club. Well, we don't know about that. Yeah, there's no word on that. What we know about the Star Club, Hamburg, Germany, is that Peter Jackson bought the tapes, and he's trying to see what he can do with them. He's experimenting to see if he can do it. And then Apple was not interested in releasing it. But they basically told Peter Jackson, come back with it. If you can do anything with it, let us know. Okay, listening in the car, have you set it to shuffle mode to make the song track different? No. And with a CD like this, it doesn't matter to me as much. If I was going to put something on shuffle mode, I probably would more likely to do that for a standard album, like play like Sgt. Pepper and shuffle or something. It's Anthony, my friend Anthony. He's a Beatles fan up to a point, but he's not interested in all the outtakes. Yeah, I know Don got that album because he liked two things about it. But why does he buy albums at all? Is he a CD collector? No, Don, the homeless person, he gets albums now and then, but I think he has ulterior motives. They have to have pretty girls on them. That's about all I'm going to say. I've seen 14 Paul shows, and I've only heard Mull McIntyre once. That was in 1979. Oddly, Wonderful Christmas Time 3 times. I saw Paul 11 times, and I've never heard either. Okay, Here Comes the Sun and Something brought me to tears of joy. Probably the stuff on there. The best stuff on there. Not many 21-year-olds will buy 12 vinyl albums or outtakes on vinyl. They grew up with everything free online. Yes, I personally think we will. I haven't heard any definitive word on it. I haven't heard it's definitely coming, but I have an educated guess, I guess, that I think it's going to happen. Let's put it that way. Am I the only one who really digs You're So Square, Baby, I Don't Care, Studio Jam? Haven't heard it mentioned. I didn't dig it. I could do without it. I don't know about anybody else. That's probably the weakest track on it for me. Out of the 4 Beatles, the Lennon camp has been the most consistent in regular releases and quality of content. I am inclined to agree, even if I tell them to their face when I see the representatives, I'm not happy that they took Woman is the Blank of the World off of it. I understand why they did it, but they had to do it in that way, but I'm not happy about it. Oh, sorry, talking to James. What a tune Gently Weeps is. Is that Clapton playing on the demo solo? Somebody said it was, I think. I don't know. Will you pick up the, I'm going to call it Driving Rain? box set when it eventually comes out. The reason I'm teasing Wes here is because I always disliked Paul's 2001 album, Driving Rain. I used to hate the whole thing. I used to call it Thriving Pain. And I gave it another listen years and years later, and I like some songs on it now. So I'll never call it that title again. But anyway, will I pick it up? Yes, I will, because when it comes to collecting the Beatles solo stuff, their albums, I collect them all, the good, the bad, and the ugly, if they're already ugly. So I wish they would stick Shea Stadium on the Disney Channel. Yeah, I wish they'd get around to releasing that properly. That's what I wish. Would you know, or know, anyone know, apparently, the use of Abbey Road Studio, is it $500 an hour? Is it true? Will we get the last two Wings archives when the documentary comes out in February? I'm clutching at straws. A lot of people think it's done. You're never going to get it again. Just because we haven't gotten it in years and years, people think it's done. Well, I'm saying I think it would be a crime to finish this series and end it without putting out the last two Wings albums, London Town and Back to the Egg. I am optimistic, and I think we are going to eventually get those two archive sets. Can't tell you when, but I just being optimistic. Just because it's been a long time doesn't mean they can't pick it up again later. Most boring track on Anthology 4 is Can You Take Me Back? Not a good choice. I disagree. Well, I've already heard that. See, that was already released on that's one of the tracks that was previously released on the White Album, I believe it, right, the White Album box. But I really do like that. I'm looking forward to the Walls and Bridges box set, my favorite Lennon album. It's one of my favorite Lennon albums, too. But when I talked to them, they said that it's going to be coming out in 2027. 2026, it won't be out, because 2026, they want to concentrate on putting out the one-to-one concerts, the afternoon and the evening visual concerts. Okay, Octopus's Garden, pretty weak on 4. Oh, come on, Lila. Come on. The Beatles box sets should start incorporating Evolution mixes, same way as the Lennon sets. I'll just be happy for them to just put out as many outtakes, particularly early outtakes, as they can. Anybody buy the new Dylan box set? Do you recommend it? It's on my list. I do want that. I am a Dylan fan. I'm not a Dylan completist, but I'm interested in this period of Dylan's work, which is, I believe, in the 50s and early 60s. I didn't know he did anything in the 50s. Okay, Tom says, I agree. I think London Town and Back to the Egg will be a combined box set. I'm not saying it's going to be combined, although it's a good idea. That's a good idea, maybe, if they don't make it too expensive. But I just think they're both coming out, period. You know, Evolution mixes were terrible. I think Paul's camp should be honest and tell us yes or no on the archives. Maybe the silence is a positive. But when they put out those, was it the Japanese CD set that came out again recently? They put all the CDs out. They kind of skipped over those albums, which made me think that maybe they wanted to be brand new again with the archives. I sadly sold my Mint 2LP, Driving Rain. I also was not a fan of the album years ago. I still have the CD. Not bad like I thought it was. Wonder if this will be number 1 on the Christmas present list. I wonder, too. I also wonder how this will do on the charts, because, there's some bad word of mouth out there on Anthology 4, and some fans aren't even buying it. So I really wonder. I'm curious. I need a drink of water here. Yeah, well, I don't know what you're talking about. Which Evolution mixes are terrible, Lila? She says the Lennon ones. Totally disagree with you on that. But we can't agree on everything now, can we? I'm actually caught up. Can you believe it? I'm actually caught up. Whew. So, anybody else want to make any comment? Let me know here. Wow. I think it's amazing. There you go. Yeah, the Real Love remix. I don't like the way John sounds on the new one in 2025. I don't know what's up with his voice, or what he did to the sound of it. And George's guitar bits seem to be compromised too. So I'm very disappointed in it. Overall, I haven't played it several times now. Was not a fan of the John Lennon Evolution mixes. Hello, John. Do you think Jeff Lynne remix is AI generated or only John's real voice? Don't know. I won't even guess. It just sounds weird. It doesn't sound like it was definitely screwed around with. Let's put it that way. Okay, I just started the Wings book. Easy read so far. Yeah, I've elected not to get the Wings book. Again, I used to be a completist as much as I could be with all kinds of things. I find as I'm getting up there, I got bookshelves here loaded with Beatles books that have been sitting there, and it just gets to you after a while. I've been living in this apartment. It'll be 11 years in February. I've been living in this apartment. I moved all this stuff up, put all the books on. I don't think I touched a book in 11 years I've been here, and that's just how it goes. Do I think Ringo's Blast from Your Past will come out on colored vinyl? It'd be nice, but do I know? It'd just be a guess. I can't bring myself to take this Blast from Your Past Ringo poster out. I love that weird picture of his face. I mean, I try to alternate posters and change them, but as anybody who watches my channel knows, that's been back there for a long time because I just like that picture. Zany looking picture. Excuse me. It is number 5 in the UK iTunes album chart. iTunes. I want to know physical sales, but thank you for the information. Surely with their ears and technology, the people redoing these tunes must know if something sounds terrible. Real Love is a mess from the first word. How could they not hear how bad it is? I don't know. I guess people have different opinions. I don't know. Maybe somebody's afraid to say anything negative about it. I don't know. I can remember acquiring the Rubber Soul LP from an estate sale in '95. I was so excited to listen to it as a new fan. Can't attribute that excitement to any other band. Isn't that something? Yeah. Glad you joined up. Real Love vocal sounds strangely processed. Yes, me too. Paul's new album, there's no word on it that I've heard. I'm guessing it's going to be 2026. I don't know if it's going to be early 26, mid 26, late 26. Do you think the anthology Disney Plus documentary will get a physical release? At this point, I don't know because Disney is usually not very excited about putting things on. It was a bitch for them even to put out Waiting Forever and for them to put out Get Back, the documentary. Excuse me. Doing a lot of talking lately on these chats and things. So, I don't know, Why did Capitol not make a Paul hits collection in the mid-'70s? They did John, George, and Ringo. Well, they had Wings Greatest. I guess that was considered Paul's. I heard that Ringo's Choose Love is canceled from Record Store Day on Black Friday. If that's the case, finally, there's a Record Store Day where I don't care about anything they're releasing. Finally. So I don't have to get up early and go down there and wait around. Sold some of my CD collection. 332 CDs, all in excellent condition. The record store only gave me 25 cents for each CD. That is sad. It's a jip, man. 25 cents. We shouldn't be too hard on Real Love. There's not much they can really do about it. It was a demo vocal, and John is no longer with us. Well, I think that's a poor excuse. They were able to do something really nice with Now and Then. They were able to improve. They were able to improve Free as a Bird. In 2015, for the video, they did a great version that everybody seems to like of Real Love. No excuse. I'm sorry, I can't agree with you. Hasn't half the Rubber Soul LP been remastered for the 2023 Red album? I didn't count how many tracks, but you're right. Yeah, there's a lot of Rubber Soul songs already on there. You know. Are you going to watch Curse of the Undead on Svengoolie tonight? Probably not. I own that on Blu-ray. That's not the reason why. I mean, I watch movies on Svengoolie all the time that I own. You know, I just like to have the fanfare with the commentary with Svengoolie. But Curse of the Undead isn't one of my favorites. Let's put it that way. I can't recommend that. Yep, prefer the 1995, 1996 versions of those songs. Okay. Imagine Giles running around the studio. I'm getting a frog in my throat or something. I have to end this earlier. Imagine Giles running around the studio with his dad. Then years later, he's involved in mixing his dad's work. Imagine that. Yeah, good point. Good point. The restored Let It Be still isn't even out on Blu-ray. Yeah, we didn't get Let It Be, and that's been forgotten. That's largely forgotten. Can't believe Paul and Ringo must have given the okay on Real Love. Also, we don't need Jeff's guitar replacing George's parts. I didn't even know that was the case. Would love to see the Lennon Camp put out a nice cleaned up Dakota tapes of John Lennon. That's a possibility. I mean, there's, they got to do what they can, right? Because John is so limited, sadly. He wasn't around that long. Hard to believe he's going to be gone 45 years next month, but so they got to put out what they could put out, work on what they can work on. There you go. Yeah, they sound pretty good. I think the way John performed the vocal wasn't the best in part. So when you bring it up in the mix, it sounds bad. We're talking about Real Love. Do you have any health updates on your other channel, Life with Mayo, planned? I don't know about health updates, but you never know. Just check out the channel and subscribe regularly. I think Free as a Bird and Real Love did improve, but we are so used to the 95 mix, which is another good point. Everybody was picking on those songs, the way they sounded. Oh, John sounds like he's in a toilet. John sounds like he's singing underwater. And in the 90s, it sounds so bad. Now they fix it, and we don't like it either. So what are you going to do? I wonder if there are any outtakes out there. They are recorded speaking or saying something derogatory, or probably are. I swear it's Jeff on Free as a Bird. Might be me. What's been your favorite release this year? Mine's been Look Up. Well, mine too. I don't buy much stuff, really, but Beatles-wise, definitely Look Up. Well, a lot of people call these like cash cows and ripoffs and cash grabs. And what I say to that is you got to understand business. This is nothing new. This has been going on with the Beatles since the 1970s, when they had the Red and Blue albums were cash grabs and putting out stuff to milk it. Rock and roll music in 76 was. Even the Hey Jude album in 1970 was kind of like trying to make a profit. This is business. This is marketing. Beatles love songs in 77. Real music in the early 80s. That's what businesses do. That's what marketing is. When the Beatles recorded Love Me Do as a single in 62, they put it out there and they wanted to get money. It was a cash grab. Buy the new Beatles single. The Beatles made their first record. Come and get it. This is nothing new. And people that cry about cash grabs, milking the cow and all of this, it's been going on since the dawn of man. And it's so tiring. and overstated these days. That's all I have to say about that. Do you miss renting a film from a shop rather than watching Netflix? I don't watch Netflix, so it doesn't matter. How's your tooth? Off topic. That is totally off topic. It's been good lately. I got a dental appointment in a couple of days. It's probably a different George guitar take on Real Love 2025. I still play both versions of the song. Okay, I'm not going to read every comment because my throat's giving way. What songs from Milk and Honey should have been on Double Fantasy? I think I still have the feeling that the songs, the way they were released on Double Fantasy, on Milk and Honey, the second album, were not really properly finished. So there's nothing on there that I think Double Fantasy. I'm trying to think. I mean, I love Living on Borrowed Time, and I love I Don't Want to Face It, but they didn't sound really that finished to me. The reunion was part of the bonus disc. Well, yeah. I just hope that's not going to be the new. I really hope that's not. That's going to be such a jip if they put that out. The bonus DVD is going to be the new hour, the new feature they have, or whatever, the new chapter. London Anthology needs a vinyl release. There you go. Well, I still think Driving Rain. I still think that Driving Rain is Paul's least album, in my opinion, of all his original studio materials, original studio Paul's work. You know what I mean? Not counting like live albums, not counting. I think the Russian album of Oldies is probably his least album, but Somebody Loves the Beatles. There you go. I hope they make a U.S. albums volume 2 next year. I'm trying to remember now what they could put in there because not many, I don't think. Yep, it's good to see some love for I Need You, the George Harrison song. I love that song. Would like to see Friday Music put out Ringo Scouts the Mouse for Record Store Day. That would be a U.S. first. Mr. Mayo, very pleased with my anthologies 1, 2, 3, 4 box set. I'm enjoying it so much better sound quality. I love the box packaging. Very good. Glad you're enjoying it. Someone had the gall to say cash grab to Joe. Haven't they ever watched his channel? Exactly. But the thing is, don't forget, there's people out there that know how I'm going to react, so they try to tweak me. And I'm aware of that, too. Don't think I was born yesterday. Okay? But again, I used to say when people said cash grab, it's not a cash grab. It's not a cash grab. Now I have a different attitude. I say, yes, it is a cash grab. They're putting this out because they're a business and they're marketers and they want to make money. People are in the business to make money. They put things out for you to buy. You choose to buy it or not buy it. They're not coming in and grabbing any of your cash from you. You give it to them willingly. And a cash grab is what it is, but you're not required to play along. And cash grabs have been around since the Beatles have been around. Let's get Joe, 70 plus likes. He's worn his voice out for us. Wow. We're right there, everyone. Wow, thank you. Beatles were a cash grab for Brian Epstein. Okay. Maybe they could have used his voice of another demo version of Real Love. Oh, boy. All this stuff, it's going to be a lot of this stuff. Okay. They should release the Rooftop concert instead. I love how you got to you got to get like a bootleg album in order to get the Rooftop concert, Funny how there's no colored vinyl in these sets, considering every vinyl released today is to sell with the novelty of pretty colored records. Yeah. In what order would you rank George's 4 White Album songs? Okay. While My Guitar Gently Weeps is number 1. Savoy Truffle is number 2. Let me see. Long, Long, Long is number 3, and Piggies is number 4. Are those the 4? Okay. Real Love 95 sounds like ELO meets the Beatles, but it's better than the 2025 version. And considering I like ELO, I got no problem with that. I like both versions of Real Love. More versions of Beatles songs is always better. There you go. Forgot about Nobody Told Me. How could I forget about that? Nobody Told Me is probably the best from Milk and Honey and should have been on Double Fantasy. I totally forgot about Nobody Told Me. As I'm running the album tracks in my mind when I was asked, I forgot about Nobody Told Me. That's always a fun track. And Ringo might have wound up doing that. That was one I think maybe he was thinking of giving to Ringo. I often wonder how many rooftop versions of Get Back and Don't Let Me Down there are. Every release seems to have a different rooftop take. Yeah, I know what you mean. Why are people so surprised of cash grabs? At the end of the day, it's a business. Because people are like sheep, and they're easily brainwashed, and they go like sheep. And whatever is in vogue, whatever the new thing is, the new phrase or the new charge, the new agenda, people just recite it. Cash grab, cash grab, cash grab. On the Rooftop Show, if they did one more song, what should it have been? It should have been a George song. I think George should have had a song to do on there. For You, Blue. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, that means a lot. It's fun to hear that song, but it was never finished right, I think. A lot of people want Bad to Me on it. It's a good song, good demo. How do you feel about a Beatles 2 album like Beatles 1? Use the B-sides. No, I don't think that's a great idea. I know Matt did that, but in the next 2 to 3 years, do you think an analog stereo mix of the Beatles catalog will see the light of day? Or do you think they'll continue doing super deluxe editions? Both, I hope. Which is better, RAM or Imagine? Depends what mood I'm in. It just depends on the mood. I think they're equal. I think they're dead equal. Hello, Black Chub Bear. 2025 Real Love mix is amazing. One of the greatest things about AI, but I still enjoy the 95 better than the new mix. That's interesting because a lot of people I have it reversed. Is Jaws the Beatles of movies? I never heard it put that way before. It's one of them. Unrelated, but are we ever going to see you sip from that cool Jaws tumbler again, or is it the alien cup from here on out? Well, this has been my trademark cup from when I started my channel. I think the Jaws cup is up here. This is a yellow Jaws cup. I'm glad you asked me if I'm ever going to use it again, because I was getting ready to tell you as I began reading your comment and not finishing it that I have used it on camera before. In the beginning, when I first got it. Beatles version of Not Guilty should have been on the White Album. It was a great track. Maybe Paul was upset with it. I've always heard that they felt they never got it right. They did like 100 takes of it or something. That's what I've always heard. That Milk and Honey is really solid. I love it. I mean, I don't love it. It's probably my least favorite John album. And it's only because it was after his death and they just took the tracks that weren't finished and just put them on to have another album. I'm glad it's out. Glad it exists. Just not a favorite. Should Look at Me have been on the White Album? It could have been, or maybe. Could have been. It's a shame the vinyl in the Beatles box sets are never shrink wrapped. Okay. Have you ever seen the Howard Stern interview where Paul talks about how Ringo always hated dealing with fans and autographs? Yes, I've seen it. And Paul says, Ringo was always the one that was like, bloody hell, get out of here kind of thing, Yeah. Too bad we never had an alternative version of I Feel Fine. I Feel Fine. The only thing that I have heard about that from outtakes is the music track, without the audio in it. I've only ever heard the backing track from it. I'm surprised Ringo didn't get a song on Get Back and Let It Be. He's working on Octopus's Garden at the time. He also had another one, Taking a Trip to California. Right. Not including Rubber Soul Remix 2026. What would be a mind-blowing release to get Beatles fans super excited? Live recordings, a really good set of live Beatles recordings, audio and video of the best. That would get fans excited, I think. Not Guilty should have replaced Piggies, but maybe in a different spot on the album. Well, I definitely like Not Guilty. I like the song Not Guilty. I just don't know that they got a completed version of it. Did you hear about a documentary coming out that's going to be focused on John's last interview? I heard there's a documentary that's out, coming out, or it's playing. It's available somewhere, called Borrowed Time. I think it is, which is about John's last years. But I haven't heard of one that's specifically, exclusively about the last interview. May Pang is the only one that says that she and John kept meeting up after the lost weekend. My feeling on May Pang is that she's a nice lady, but I think she's trying to extend her 15 minutes to make it into 2 hours. That's what I feel. Did the Beatles ever play World Without Love? No, but there's a version that exists that I've heard of Paul, a demo, which is wonderful, of Paul doing World Without Love. It's not the whole song, but it's out there, a piece of it. How about the complete Deco edition? Yeah, you could do the complete Deco. I'm just tired of the Deco editions. It's been out so many ways, so many different releases of it, both some official, I think, and some unofficial. But it's nice to catch you live without 2 or 3 other people with you. Thank you for being honest. Some people like when I have somebody with me. Some people like this better. I'm finding that a lot of people like me solo, because I think the reason is because, as I'm doing with you right now, if I'm by myself, I can concentrate on the viewers. When I have a friend up here, it's just the friends, or friends plural, and myself. So I'm glad. I appreciate that, Wes. Thank you. Ringo's song was Taking a Trip to Carolina. Okay, it sounded like Don't Pass Me By. Well, I remember. Wasn't that featured in the Get Back documentary? I think it sounds familiar. Giles Martin really recently talked about a Shea Stadium cleaned up thanks to AI. Well, I still say I want to see a Shea Stadium, not an album. I want to see a Shea Stadium documentary. Because I think they can make a nice documentary that would be about. It could make it like 70, 80 minutes, 70, 80, maybe even 90 minutes. And they could make a nice documentary film, include the Beatles concert, but also include the Beatles traveling in the helicopter, looking down on the city, arriving at Shea Stadium, in the dressing rooms or the dugouts, I guess they were, where they're looking at fan art and things that the fans sent them and gifts. You also have footage of the fans, and you have the opening acts. You have the opening performers. You can make a really nice timepiece out of this if you really try. Do you have any Beatle interview discs? Marie the K. Yeah, I have quite a few of those. Yes, I do. Quite a few. What do you think of the 2025 version of Baby You're a Rich Man? I think it's wonderful. I think it's funny. It's got good joking around at the beginning of it, where John's talking about coke, I think, and Paul's saying he wants cannabis and all this kind of stuff. And what they're doing, in case you don't know, is it says in the booklet, they're kind of teasing the Rolling Stones, because I think Mick and Keith, a day or two prior, had gone to court for drug possession or something. So that's what they're referring to. But then the song itself is a lot of fun. when they do Baby You're a Rich Man. I love it. Which Beatle had the most groupies? I'm guessing it was pretty evenly. Maybe Paul, but I'm guessing it was even across the board. Yeah, this is a different Lennon documentary entirely. Seems like an interesting concept. Yeah, well, I don't know what they could do with it. A whole documentary just on the last interview. But did you go to see John and Yoko's one-to-one documentary in the theaters? Yes, I did. And I did like it. Yes, I did. And if you check my channel, the best way to do it is if you want to see my review of it, go under playlists. All you got to do is subscribe to my channel, go under playlists, and under playlists, it'll tell you all kinds of topics. And one of them is movies or films. That's what. Enjoy all the lives, signal and with guests. Thank you. Thank you, George. Live streams. Have you ever seen that YouTube Beatles channel, Gears? They're everywhere. No, never heard of it before. Thank you. If Paul decided to retire, do you think his live band could carry on as a very good, expensive tribute band? They're a good band. They're definitely a good band, but I wouldn't want to see that, I don't think. Should Her Majesty have been in the Abbey Road medley? It's, I think it was right to be taken out of there. I've heard it with Her Majesty in there. It just completely deadens the whole flow of the medley. I'm glad it was taken out. I believe from what I remember reading in a Mark Lewison book, Paul said when he listened to it, I don't like Her Majesty, take it out. And it was cut. And I think he said, what do you want me to do with it? And the engineer said, what do you want me to do with it? And Paul said, just throw it away or something. And he didn't want to throw it away. So instead he tacked it on at the end and left a long leader at the end. I think that's the story. So when Paul heard it, that's why you got Her Majesty as the bonus thing at the end. So I'm just shocked that Love of the Loved, a Lennon and McCartney original, hasn't been officially released yet. You mean like the little snippet that exists of it? Shouldn't the priority be issuing the whole Beatles catalog with the emphasis on audiophile, sound quality, or using the best available analog sources, including Magical Mystery Tour? Well, that's a matter of opinion, but you know what I'm thinking? I also understand marketing as well. I mean, I guess the people at Apple thought they had a big thing going here with it. Talk about cash cow. It's business. It's marketing. This is the 30th anniversary of Anthology, and a lot of young Beatle fans became Beatle fans because of Anthology. Anthology in '95 was a big event. So it looks like they thought we're not going to miss the opportunity to celebrate and get people, involved and to buy for the 30th anniversary. So they did that. That's what I think. Of course, it's also the 60th anniversary of Rubber Soul and the 60th anniversary of Help. Yeah, AI is ridiculous. I'm so fed up with AI. I think it's a joke. Ringo's Carolina was released on Let It Be Naked, Fly on the Wall. When I got the Let It Be Naked album, I played Fly on the Wall one time. It was so boring. I never played it again. I don't remember it. That's going back some 25 close to years. I've never visited Candlestick Park. I've never been there. Any interest in the 16 CD set of War of the Worlds by Jeff Wayne? No. Sorry. The guy who had the Beatles audition tapes meets Paul McCartney. There's a new news report about it on YouTube. You know what's funny about that? These days, you don't know if it's real or on YouTube. I read somewhere that the Beatles signed a baseball after the Shea Stadium show. I never heard of that. Looked like they ran right the hell out of there into the armored car. Yeah, and the Baby You're a Rich Man, at the end of it, when they're singing the chorus, I can't do the rolling R's thing. John's going, baby, you're a rich man. Baby, you're a rich man. It's great. Great. I forget what I said yesterday about the new version of Real Love. The original version wins hands down. Well, that's what happened to me. That's what happened to me. I'm with you. Yeah, I think when Sergeant Pilcher got involved with Mick and Keith got busted. Yeah, that's what was being referred to, I believe. I enjoy when you have guests on, especially the Joe and Danny show, but you solo is my favorite. Thank you. I don't mind other opinions if you're here and you want to give an opinion of which you prefer. What do you prefer, Revolution or Revolution 1? I prefer the fast version, the B-side of Hey Jude Revolution. I can't stand Revolution 1. Revolution 1 is one of my least favorite Beatles songs. I don't hate it. But it's just so dull and boring compared to Revolution, the single. You know, when I grew up, before I really knew the facts, I thought that Revolution, the fast version, the hard version, was the first one. And later on, they kind of spoofed it on the White Album. I was like 14 or 15. Now I know that's not the truth, you know. It's the other way around. Danny has Anthology 2, and 3. He should have 4. If you got the first 3, you gotta have 4. I'd like any films or concerts restored and released on 4K UHD with no AI or DNR. Okay, we would love a version of "I Want You." It exists, but they released a pretty boring version on the Abbey Road box set. If it's what I'm thinking of, the version of "I Want You," She's So Heavy, that features Billy Preston on that wonderful Wurlitzer organ, I really think is one of my favorite bonus tracks on Abbey Road. So if that's the one we're talking about. Anthology Anthony 4. Anthology 4 was not needed, but I'll take it. Okay. By the way, you were great on Beatley Tone and Greedo's first Beatleboard game. Quite a master of Beatles knowledge. Thank you, folks. Watch me over there on Beatley Tone's channel. Go to Beatley Tone's Beatles channel, and you gotta go past a few videos, and you will see a trivia game that I'm the first one to play. Okay, I guess it's time for a Ruddles Archaeology box set. Yeah, with demos and outtakes. There is no update on the Hamburg remasters. None. Rest in peace from Stone Roses. I Will is probably the least interesting track on the Anthology 4. Your Story of Her Majesty is exactly how it happened. It was a surprise at the end, and the Beatles liked it. Yeah, I like it as a tag-on thing, you know. But sorry, Darren, no singing today. No singing. I'm going to be getting off very shortly here, as a matter of fact. Mr. Mayo, of all the Beatles channels on YouTube and all the thousands of channels they have for me, your channel's number one. Well, I thank you, John Alelo. I've got some very good what's the word I'm looking for? Friends and people who have channels. The word I'm looking for, colleagues out there. You know, a lot of people have great Beatle channels. What is the best song on Ram? I gotta say, Uncle Albert, Admiral Halsey. It's my favorite song on there. A lot of people would say "Backseat of My Car" is the best song. It's not my favorite. I like it, not my favorite, but I definitely like Uncle Albert. There's Too Many People. I like the whole album. Does any of the money from Happy Christmas War Is Over go to any chosen charities of the Lenin estate? Okay, there you go. Yes. Am I a fan of Kate Bush? No. Thank you. I appreciate that. I got 80 likes at least. Thank you very much. No more contributions, though. Only yours, Daniel, but that's always appreciated anyway. Still time to contribute if you like. Agree about Revolution 1, would rather not guilty on there instead. Yeah. Wish You Were Here is also 50. There's a box set coming. I heard Kate Bush say that her favorite song of all time is Number 9 Dream. That's very, very good. flattering. While my guitar gently weeps on 4 Anthology is amazing without Paul's bass. Joe, why is someone playing a toy guitar on All You Need Is Love? I don't know the answer to that. A shout out right back to Larry. Hello, Larry, Canadian Stud Muffin. Shouting you out, too. Thank you. Wish they added a take of Slow Down and Bad Boy on Anthology 4. Do they exist? Did they record more than one take of those? I don't know. Gotta look it up. Black and Blue, the Rolling Stones also getting a re-release. I jumped on the Beatles bandwagon and became a fan as a kid when Anthology was released in 95. A lot of people did, yes. The outtakes, the demos, and live tracks were my intro to their music. My mom only had With the Beatles and A Hard Day's Night on CD. Okay, I'm going to be winding this down in 5 minutes. Now's your chance. When I was a kid, I did the trivia game at the fest. Question was, what was the B-side to I Want to Hold Your Hand? I answered This Boy. It was a trick question, the American single. Well, the American singles I saw standing there. The British version is This Boy. I don't like Sour Milk Sea. I'm sorry. I really don't like that song. I don't like that song Circles either. Another one. What Rolling Stones song did Paul and John sing backup on? The answer would be We Love You by the Rolling Stones. John and Paul sing backup on that. Backseat of My Car is the best song on Ram. Not even close for me. I like it, but nowhere near my favorite. Listening to any AI Beatle covers. Not if I can help it. Great to share these anthology days with you all. It's been great. Knew the debate would be interesting. Have a great weekend, all. Thank you, Lila. I'm glad you could make it. Hello, Lizzie. I'm patiently awaiting my anthology CD set to be delivered. I've been staying away from listening to anything yet of it, with the exception of In My Life, which is gorgeous. It is. It's gorgeous. There's a lot of other fun stuff on there I hope you'll enjoy. Sorry, you're right about I Want You. Fantastic Billy Preston's version. Hey, Dinner with Greedo. Hello. Thank you so much for being here. Just wanted to thank you again for being the first amazing guest on the Beatle board. I had a lot of fun hanging out with you. Ditto. It was lots of fun. And I'm looking forward to your next show. There's going to be another one, right? Let me know when you and Tone are going to do the next one. Do you have anything lined up yet? I think they were both done in one take each, which we're talking about Slow Down and Bad Boy. Is that what we're talking about? Thank you. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, that's fine. I appreciate that, Gary. I know how you feel, and I always appreciate your support. But other people have very good channels, and some of them are better than mine. So I say modestly, So it's something for everybody. A nice 2-record set of the Ed Sullivan shows with John's microphone volume restored from the first show would be great. Heck, a box of all their live appearances would be cool. Well, I wonder if can they get John's voice back? I wonder from the Ed Sullivan. Love that twangy guitar on the new All You Need Is Love. Do you not like Revolution 1 on the White Album because it gets creepy at the end and a little scary? No, what I don't like about it is, first of all, I don't like the shooby-doo-wop. Shooby-doo-wop, shooby-doo-wop. It's going to be shooby-doo-wop. He wanted me to sing. Darren wanted me to sing a little bit. I hate that. Turning it into a 50s doo-wop song. And it's also slow. It's slow. It's a kick-ass rocking song about revolution. That's the one I like, not this little diddy doo-wah thing. That's why I'm not big on it. I was surprised when the Revolver box set didn't have an outtake for Good Day Sunshine. Circles has got great lyrics. If only I could stay awake when I listen to it. That's all I wish. Wait, rumor has it that John played bass on While My Guitar Gently Weeps while Paul was on piano. I know John plays bass on Helter Skelter. They also sang "Back Up on Dandelion" as well by the Rolling Stones, John and Paul. I gotta sign off now. I hate doing it, but I gotta get going. Thank you very much in Liverpool. Thank you very much. It was said yesterday. If what was said is true, that Disney edited down the anthology episode, then don't waste my time. Could be. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the George Harrison camp is thinking. I don't know why they don't put stuff out. By the way, folks, before I get off here, I want to tell you, I'm going to try to do a lot more of these really intense Beatle discussions because I like the way it's going. A lot of people are interested. This catch up with Mayo, we can do this. I do this every week anyway. Even though it doesn't necessarily have Beatles in the title, join me here every Saturday. We can do this again. Beatles all the time. I prefer the version of Band on the Run without Helen Wheels. I prefer the version with Helen Wheels. I like Anthology 2 the best. Anthology 2 is my favorite right now. Would be cool to see reviews some of those Christmas slashers on my Mr. Cinemayo channel. This is a good time to plug my channels again. I have 2 channels. If you like movies, down here, as Daniel says, Mr. Cinemayo. It's a channel where I talk about movies and horror movies in particular, but not only horror movies. I just did a freaking review of The Sound of Music, for crying out loud. Okay, so it's movies, TV, pop culture, nostalgia, all that fun kind of stuff. So please do that. Also, I have another channel that I'm just starting out below called Life with Mayo. I may change that title. Right now, that's the title. That's another channel that has stuff just about living life, the good, the bad, the ugly, trying to make sense of the crazy planet we live on, that kind of thing. So I thank you for that. All right, folks. So I'm going to kind of get ready here to sign off. Let me just look at the comments one more time. Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. You inspired many people to request to be on the show. They want to beat you. Wow. We're going to pull a name from a hat and hopefully film beginning of December. Okay. The only thing I would say about it is, it's just my humble opinion. Everything should be exactly the same format for every contestant. If it's not, then some people, whether it's myself or whether it's another person, got a different advantage or disadvantage. Okay, for what it's worth. Okay, everybody, this was a lot of fun. Please come back. Please subscribe to my channel. Mr. Mayo, please subscribe to my other channels. You never know what content I'm going to put up here and there. We'll be back for more Beatles live shows. Okay, stay tuned for them. Cheers, everyone.